Okay, so we'll start Vayikra tomorrow, but as Rosh Chodesh was on Thursday and Friday, I thought it's worth noting one Rashi on the phrase that has become a song, Mishenichnas Adar Marbim Simcha, which, of course, is less famous than the line that actually it began with, which is right, Mishenichnas Adar Simcha, and then Kishay Mishenichnas Adar Simcha, Kach Mishenichnas Adar Marbim Simcha. It's only. See the other one. What? Why not? That sounds like a very, very Litvish thing to do. Mournful Eicha tune as we start. By the way, this is parenthetically the raya against. It drives me nuts, right? There's this thing that floats around yeshivot. I assume it floats around yeshivot. It is literally posted on huge signs in YU that are hung across the basement. Our Sinserv lesson was the Mashkiach, that Mishenichnas Adar Marbim Simcha Ein Simcha Elo Torah, right? That Adar is the time to learn Torah, which by that logic means that when Av comes, you should learn less Torah, which considering that's the primary comment, which unless you think that he's referring to the Isser of learning Torah on Tisha B'Av, or alternatively, this is a Makor in Chazal for Bein Hazmanim, and Av being a Bracha Levatala on Talmud Torah to begin with, I highly doubt that that's the simple pshat, even though I'm fully in favor of increasing Talmud Torah at all times. Okay, but the comment that I think is important in Rashi is that people don't think about Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. Now, from this, people assume that means that Adar is the happiest month, right? And therefore, they assume that Adar is happy and Adar is over, and then Nisan comes, and Nisan is, I don't know, not sad. No, it's a pretty good month, but right, there's this feeling that, I don't know, Av is the month of frivolity, and that's what Simcha means, and Nisan, is a happy month. You don't say Tachlin for a month. That makes people happy as things go, right? And Pesach, people like Pesach, parts of it anyways. Most people celebrate the Seder in some way, shape, or form, whether they're from or not. But they think it's unique to Adar. And there is some evidence to that in the Gemara, right? That it's a good time to have court cases with non-Jews, and maybe it has to do with the mazel, whatever the mazel means, right? And there's discussions in poskim of whether that actually means there's real mazel changes, or you should act as if there's a mazel change because that's what generates happiness, right? You act as if it's an auspicious time and that's what makes you feel happy or something like that. But Rashi is a totally different take on this. Rashi said, Mishenichnas Adar, Pil Misik is 6 words. He says, Yemei Nisim Hayli Yisrael, Purim, Upesach. Right? Mishenichnas Adar Marbim Simcha is the beginning of a 2-month period of Simcha, because it's a month of Nisim, right? And what makes you happy, it's not this frivolity, right?
That's weird. This is the only time where 2 months or 2 holidays are...
Well, think about it. This actually explains... Now, Rashi makes a lot of sense. Why does Rashi make sense? Right? What halacha am I just assume drove Rashi? No, the fact that Purim is in the Adar HaSmuch LePesach, right? That the insistence that it's Smuch LePesach, right? That we define the Ikar Adar as the Adar which will bring Purim in conjunction with Pesach. I assume that's what drove Rashi to this recognition, right? So some people think Mishenichnas Adar, that means Adar is the happiest month. Rashi thinks it's a 2-month period, right? Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha, and you begin a 2-month celebration of Nisan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? So Nisan, according to Rashi, is no less and maybe more. I'm not sure, right? It's not clear to me whether Rashi thinks that Adar and Nisan are equivalent months of happiness, right? Or he's arguing that, right, starting in Adar, we start getting into the mode of Nisim. Purim is a great miracle, but Pesach is even greater. And I don't know, right? Because it's true that the Gemara argues, if you remember, we did this on over Chanukah, I mentioned this, right? That the Gemara argues that how did they know they could make a holiday for Purim because they made a kal vachomer from Pesach. Right? Pesach was Avdos L'cheiros, and Purim was Mimisa L'chaim. Right? So it is possible that he's conceptualizing Adar as more, and Nisan, this Simcha is maintained. Right? I'm not sure which is meant to be more, but what is clear to me, right, is that for Rashi, this is not about Adar. Right? It's about the way we react with Nisim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in general. And the way I like framing this is based on a fascinating comment. Why did I not bring this with me? I don't know. Fascinating comment by the Talmidei Rabbeinu Yonah, Talmid Rabbeinu Yonah, whoever exactly wrote that thing in Brachot. And that is on his comment of what is Pirsumei Nisa. I'm going to grab me a brachot, actually. Like a real brachot, like, this. Right? So, right, I'll give the background to it. Ellie, I think we'll be able to hear me. Can you hear me still, Ellie? Okay. So, if I asked you, what is the nature of Pirsum Hanes, what would you say? Most people understand it's dinin. Yeah, and what type of mitzvah is it?
Tzibor.
Yeah, what do I mean? More than that. Simply, it's a Maisa mitzvah. Yeah. It's Maisa, that's what I mean. Very simply, it's a Maisa mitzvah. Right? Like, there's all these, right? Now, there's clearly a kiyum that's it aimed at, but when we talk about Pirsum Nisa, we mean Maaseh mitzvah. But Rabbeinu Yonah seems to, did you not find the brachos?
Not here. I can give you this one.
No, but that won't have Rabbeinu. Oh, will it? Yeah, it will, actually. It will. It's okay. But Rabbeinu Yonah has a fascinating comment that he thinks sheds light on this. So he's commenting on the Gemara in Brachos, which people don't like ever quoting, which is Asur la'adam malis chok piv ba'olam hazeh. Right? It is asur to be too happy in this world, which either means in this world or before Yemos HaMashiach. But either way, it's a strong limitation on, our endorsement of, mitzvah gedol liyot b'simcha tamid, except that it's asur, or whatever, right? Except that it's asur according to the Gemara, to be extremely happy, or whatever, to have mirth, like, overflowing out of your mouth. The poskim actually have long discussions on what that means, right? There are actually like long articles written on how much, this is one of the weirdest discussions in poskim, is like, how happy is too happy, how much laughter is too, right? Is it a chuckle, is it whatever, at some point, I don't know. Fine. But commenting on that, Rabbeinu Yonah writes as follows. This is Chafala from Midbei is in the Dapei Arif. And he says, right, so as I noted, he said that, right, Machlokes, whether this is about Yemos HaMashiach versus non-Yemos HaMashiach, or Olam Hazeh versus Olam Haba. So he argues that it's not about Korban, right? It's about, that's not, right? He argues this in Olam Hazeh, Olam Haba. And he says, "Umay damrinan ema sayamalis chok pinu l'shenirina bizman sheyomru goyim higdil Hashem lasodim eileh lo b'nei hamikdash bilvad amar elahachi ka'amar." It's not about the mikdash. This is what it means. Ema sayamalis chok pinu v'tiyah simcha muteret mizman sheyase imanu nisim v'yoshienu. Once, it's not the mikdash, but once the nisim of Mashiach start happening, then we'll be able to be malei simcha. Why? Va'az ba'osa wazan nismach kidei legalot niflotav u'gvurotav. Right? We will be happy in order to, right, reveal God's miracles. V'yomru hagoyim igdil Hashem lasodim eileh, and cause the nations to look at us and say, "Wow, God did great things for them." V'yiru b'simchatenu, they'll see our joy. V'yevoshu, and they will become, embarrassed. V'simcha kazoshi simchana borehi mitzvah gdola mishum pirsumei nisa. That happiness is a mitzvah mishum pirsumei nisa, and then he says, "How do I know this?" V'doma lazeh, he said, is conceptually similar to Masha Amru b'midrash. The midrash Shir Shirim says as follows: Zeh hayom asah Hashem nagila v'nismecha vo. Right, this is the day of God. I will rejoice. Vo. Right, translate the word vo. So it's either in the day or in Him. Right, it's ambiguous. So the midrash says, "Min God." Have a Omer Bahashem. So the Midrash says, I don't know which one it means, and says it's Hashem, Klomar. Afal Pisha Zeh Yom Hu Yom Tov. He said, even though yes, it's Yom Tov, V'nasa Lanu Bon Nisim V'neflod, V'anu Smeichim B'hem. Yes, it's Yom Tov. Yes, we're happy. Afilu Hachi Ikar HaSimcha Eina Ba'avur Yom Tov. The joy isn't the day. Ela bavur Hashem, the joy is for God lifarseim et kol hagdolot v'et kol hanarot shu osei imanu. Right, to show the miracles. And Rabbeinu Yonah argues by invoking the word Pirsumei Nisa, I think, is that the real Pirsumei Nisa is not the Maaseh mitzvah are meant to bring to the kiyum, but the ultimate Pirsumei Nisa is the fact that it actually changes our state of being. Right, meaning the very fact that we are happy reflects to others that we appreciate the miracles that God did to us. Right, it's not fundamentally a Simcha in the Yom. It's a Simcha in HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a time which God mandates a celebration for His miracles.
So you have Pirsumei Nisa all month?
So that seems to, right. So that seems to be at some level, right. Whether it's a mamish chiyuv of Pirsumei, but what he's arguing, right. By the way, according to this Rabbeinu Yonah, what I argue is that the mishteh is as much, right. The mishteh v'simcha is as much a kiyum in the Pirsumei as the Megillah. Right, that's what he's arguing. Right, the Simcha Shebo is what causes other people to look and say, what are they rejoicing about? And you say, because God did miracles for us. Right, but based on that analysis, right, Rashi makes a lot of sense. What's he saying? Mishenichnas Adar. Once we start entering a 2-month tkufa of Nisim, Marbim b'simcha, our very demeanor should be happy, because that reflects to others that we recognize the nisim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for us. And that's why it's not fundamentally about Adar, right? And it's not even about Maisa Mitzvah. It's about when we are in a period where we are reflecting on nisim, we are meant to be happy because our state of being, our countenance, is the largest form of Pirsumei Nisa, even more than any of the specific actions that we do. So yeah, I think Rashi at some level is arguing that the entire month has a quasi-kiyum or a lesser kiyum of Pirsumei Nisa through that general Avirah of Simcha, right? If you recognize, this is the key, right? If you recognize that the Simcha is generated because of an appreciation of the Nisim, right? And I think that's an important point to keep in mind, right? I think if you combine Rashi and Rabbeinu Yonah, you actually get a very theologically critical understanding of what it means to rejoice and what it means to be happy, right? As an internalization of Nisei Hashem. Okay? So that's a little bit for Adar. We'll start Vayikra.